The story of how America won World War II is one you think you know. But history is rarely as clean as the movies make it out to be. The official narrative is clean, heroic, and final. But the real story is much messier, darker, and far more complicated than any film has ever shown. We are often told the story of America's entry into the war, the storming of Normandy, the dropping of 2 atomic bombs, and the salvation of the world from fascism. But to understand how America truly won, we must look beyond the simplified heroism and face a more complicated history. By the time America formally entered the war in December 1941, Europe had already been burning for 2 years. Poland was gone, France had fallen. The Soviet Union was enduring the largest military invasion in history, and millions were already dead, while America remained neutral. This neutrality was not an accident. American corporations like Henry Ford, IBM, and Standard Oil had deep financial ties with Nazi Germany, supplying technology and fuel well into the war. The untold truth of America's entry begins not with sudden heroism, but with calculated profit and a deliberate delay. When America finally mobilized, its industrial might became the true secret weapon of the Allies. America produced a new warship every day, a new aircraft every 5 minutes, and more steel and ammunition than the entire Axis combined. Through the $50 billion Lend-Lease program, crucial tanks, trucks, food, and fuel flowed to Britain and, vitally, to the Soviet Union. This massive mobilization, however, was also for profit. War spending ended the Great Depression because it allowed for massive economic expansion that peacetime policy would not permit. Now, for the most inconvenient truth, the Soviet Union, not D-Day, broke the back of Nazi Germany. Of the 8 million German soldiers killed in the entire war, a staggering 80% died fighting the Soviets on the Eastern Front. The Soviet Union lost 27 million people. The United States lost 400,000. American films erase the largest sacrifice in modern history from the victory story. The Normandy landing, the so-called Second Front, came in 1944, 3 years after the Soviets began fighting alone, and partly because the Soviets were already winning. The official story of the atomic bombs is that they ended the war and saved lives. The declassified record suggests a different, darker purpose. By summer 1945, Japan's military was destroyed and they were already seeking surrender. General Eisenhower himself called the bomb completely unnecessary. The true purpose, according to declassified documents, was to send a message to the Soviet Union to establish American nuclear dominance before Moscow could move further into Asia. America did win World War II. American industrial power and soldiers were absolutely essential to the Allied victory. That is real. The untold truth is this: America won through industrial power, real courage, and the blood of 27 million Soviet citizens who are almost never thanked. It emerged not just as a victor, but as an empire, ready to shape the world in its own image. Understanding this truth is the beginning of honest history.